Morning, students. In the last class, we have came to know how the young lady, Mrs. Helen Stoner, came to Dr. Watson and Sarah to find out the reasons about the death of her stepsisters. And she was also worried that her stepfather was responsible for the death of her two twin sisters. So now let's see what happened next. How this Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, both the detectives, how they will help this lady. So now let's see the page number 44. Just go through the first paragraph. I am all attention, madam. My name is Helen Stone, and I am living with my stepfather, Dr. Rolt. When Dr. Rolt was in India, he married my mother, Mrs. Stoner, the young widow of Major General Stoner. My sister Julia and I were twins, and we were only 2 years old at the time of my mother's remarriage. So now, Miss Helen, she narrated her story, how her mother got married with the Dr. Royal. Dr. Royal married Helen's mother when Helen's and her twin sister was only 2 years old. That time they were in India. So my sister Julia and I were twins, and we were only 2 years old at the time of my mother's remarriage. She had a considerable sum of money, not less than £1,000 a year, and this she bequeathed to Dr. Royalt entirely while we resided with him, and with a provision that a certain annual sum should be allowed to each of us in the event of our marriage. So now Helen's mother was a wealthy lady. She was very rich and she had a huge sum of amount. She earned £1,000 a year. And she had also told to her newly married husband that some sum of the money should be given to her daughter when they got married. And this is the reason that Mrs. Helen thought that the stepfather wants to kill Helen too because of the money. So that is the reason here. Shortly after our return to England, my mother died. A terrible change came over our stepfather about this time. Instead of making friends and exchanging visits with our neighbors, he indulged in the ferocious quarrel with whoever might come across his path. He had no friends at all save the wandering gypsies, who he could give gifts to encamp upon his land. He has a patience also for the Indian animals, and he has at this moment a cheetah and a baboons, which wander freely over his grounds and are feared by the villager almost as much as their master. So now, when Helen's mother died, this man was completely, Dr. Royal completely changed. Then he has shown his real attitude. What was the attitude? Then he became very furious, and all the times he began to quarrel with his neighbor peoples. And he had no friends. But with whom he had made the friendship? He had made a friendship with the gypsies. Gypsies, the small, this is the imaginary things where these small peoples. Okay, this height is very short. And even he has tamed two dangerous animals like the baboons and the cheetahs. So that's why nobody were allowed to come near his compound. So this is the nature this man is having now. I mean, You can imagine from what I say that my poor sister Julia and I had no great pleasures in our life. No servant would stay with us, and for a long time we did all the work for the house. She was but 30 at the time of her death. So now, as this man was completely changed, this man treated them very badly. So no servants used to remain in their house. So now Julia, the Helen's sister, and they were remain there in the house, like confirmed. They will be like in the prison jail. Okay. And they were not allowed to go out also. At the time of Julia, the Helen's sister, death, she was 30 years old. So this is the paragraphs we'll have to see here. At the time of her death, your sister is dead. The Sherlock asks, I wish to speak to you about her death. Julia made a half-pay a marine at Christmas to whom she became engaged. My stepfather learned of the engagement and offered no objection to the marriage, but within a fortnight of the day which had been fixed for the wedding, the terrible event occurred, which was deprived me of my com- com- only companions. So now she narrated the story how her sister was died. It is said that her sister had engaged to marriage with one person who worked in the ship, marine. Then in the very beginning, or at the when father came to know about means stepfather when came to know about their marriage, he has no objection. But on the day of engagement, this event happened. This tragic event happened that the Julia was killed on that particular night of her engagement. So in the next class, we'll see more what happens and who has killed, how it happened, and who is the real culprit. We'll come to know in the next class. Till then, you read the page number 44 nicely, and the words meaning, what is there at the end of the book's words meaning, you'll have to read this one and write in your school notebooks.